There's many great things about riding your bike around Rexburg, Idaho. The best is probably that there's basically no cars. The roads have a surprising amount of variety, and even in the early spring, the roads are in really good condition. So there are three standard loops around Rexburg. This is the middle loop. It's about 60 miles, and the best thing about this loop is that you're never more than a couple miles from Rexburg if you have weather or your legs are given out or something like that. But it takes you on the outskirts of the valley. So once again, there's basically no traffic. We'll start by heading mostly east on Pole Line Road with a little dip in the road before we start heading north of St. Anthony. A good place to start any ride in Rexburg is this church parking lot up by the water tower. It's on the edge of town, easy to get to, and from here on out, there's basically no traffic. So here we go. All right, this is called Pole Line Road, probably because, well, there's a pole line down the length of it. Certainly not the only road that has poles on both sides, but this will be the busiest road for the next couple hours, which means I might see a car, maybe two. Today is the first day of March, and so the tiny bit of ice on the road. This little turn here is called Webster's Dip, and it's tons of fun to zoom it. Okay, here we are at the end of the pole line. We continue forward. It's a gravel road. We're going to take a left down Beasley's. It's called Beasley because apparently a guy named Beasley used to live here. Well, it was like 5 miles on pole line, and I saw exactly one car on a Saturday morning. Okay, so now we're going to take a left turn and head north down Beasley's Hill Road, a nice descent towards Teton. We're going to hang a right, take this little jig to get towards Newdale. And once again, we're doing this because it basically avoids all traffic. I think I saw one car this half an hour stretch of road. All right, our second zoom of the day of 3. As you really crank this one, you can fly up the other side without doing a climb. Little dip here is so much fun. I mean, you can really get cranking on it. If you go really fast on the downhill, you can basically zoom up to the other side, which is what I'm trying to do here to save a little bit of energy. Apparently this house right on the other side of that dip is where Mr. Beasley lives. Never met the man. I'm trying to call Beasley still. I love this little draw here. This is Moody Creek. It actually flows year-round. On the bottom of Beasley's Road, we're going to take a right turn. If we go straight, we go into Teton, which has little traffic. But we're going to go right, which has no traffic. What's that? Only in Idaho, right? You see a potato just sitting there on the road. Huh. Love these old potato sellers. They don't make them like that anymore. The first highway we crossed today, you might have to touch the brakes. It looks like I'll get it clear. Heading north towards Monkey Rock, which crosses the Teton River, the site of the massive flood when the Teton Dam burst. It's kind of pretty up here, and often there's some bridge jumping right here. I was riding out here a few years ago at this exact time of year, and there's a bunch of snow geese out in that field. And I didn't want to startle them, but they necessarily took flight, and there's 4 of them. And I kind of lost track, and as they flew around, they saw only 3. I'm like, what happened to number 4? And then I came over this little rise up here. Then I saw a snow geese all in a pile. He got caught up in the wire with his neck broken. Boy, it broke my heart. I know it's too far away to see with a wide-angle camera like this, but off in the horizon, the Tetons are so visible and look amazing. There's about 200 snow geese just sitting right there, hanging out. I hope they don't fly off. the end of that little rise there is a bridge. Now the Tuesday night ride, we come this way all the time, and there's always a sprint. So the first one on that bridge just before the top of that hill. And right about now, people are getting in position, and the people who want to sprint have a plan. And if you have a lead out man, usually the lead out man's gonna gun it. But this is right about the time people are getting really cross-eyed. All right, so this is the Teton River, and the Teton Dam, which broke about 50 years ago, is just about 3 miles upstream of it. Can you imagine 40 feet of water roaring down this river here? Aha, and here we have the finale to the sprint. I'm not going nearly fast enough to win today.
Next stretch is pretty much westerly as we're heading towards the Snake River. The only bit of traffic we're going to encounter is crossing Highway 20, but it's not really that busy, so it's fairly easy to do.
Okay, now we're crossing now we're coming across Highway 20, our second big highway of the day. This one's much bigger than the first. Speeds are 70 miles an hour here. You definitely want to choose your spots carefully. I love it how this farm says it's been here since 1941. 85 years, can you imagine? This blinking light means we're approaching Parker-Salem Highway, and if we turn left, that'll take us straight into Rexburg. It's about 6 miles or so back to the church where we started from. That'd be a 35-mile day. I love this cool old barn. So many of these old vines around here. They just built things differently back then.
Next, we're going to snake along Snake River. Haha, see what I did there? You really should download the route.
Crossing the Snake River. We'll cross it a couple more times before we're finished today.
Really like this southern bit. We're going to cross the Snake River one more time right here, and then we're going to go on the extreme west of the edge of the Burton neighborhood. And because we're so far west, there's basically no cars on this edge of the road.
Okay, we're going to get off the abandoned country lanes for a little bit and get on Highway 33. It's busy for sure, but there's a wide shoulder. The Snake River is moving pretty good considering it's below freezing. Back on the abandoned farm roads again, off the highway.
My route short a little bit here because I broke a spoke, but that's the nice thing about this loop, is always a shortcut back.
Here is a box car in the middle of nowhere. It's not like there's any tracks near here or anything. How did it get there? As you recall, we crossed Highway 20 before, except there was just a stop sign. Here, south of Rexburg, we have a nice overpass. And there are several, don't get me wrong, but this one's by far the safest. There's a nice wide shoulder, and there's seldom a car in the way. This little bit about Yellowstone Highway is kind of boring, but there's a big shoulder and not many cars, so it's not a big deal. Okay, we're coming across pole line road here. This is the same pole line we started on. Now this hill right here is definitely the hardest part of the entire ride. There's actually two steep parts. There's a short little one and a second. We're gonna stay on pole line for the first one, but we're gonna get off pole line and go to the neighborhoods for the second one, which is far safer. Okay, I've made it the steepest part. Now I'm ready to turn over to the neighborhood part, and that's gonna be a whole lot less stressful. There we go. Like I said a few times before, the best part about this ride is there's basically no traffic. And if you want to cut it short at any point in time, you can. I was actually planning on going 5 miles further, but I broke a spoke. And so I just cut short and then made it back home.